Good evening, thank you for coming. I'm going to start out by reading a few poems from Mirabai. The introduction to Mirabai is that in the West, the royal tradition is well known. The media takes great advantage of it. In the East, there was a tradition whereby many of the royal-born looked further, you could say, abdicated their crowns, and took to the road. Lord Buddha is a principal example. There were also women examples. Until Miranda Shaw published Passionate Enlightenment and Sultan Alioni published The Women of Power, the tradition was mainly given over to men. Even Rimbaud said, when the women poets arrive, they'll be unrecognizable. So these highly empowered women, often royal in birth, walked unnoticed for many generations. Now they're being translated. Mirabai was going to be the queen of North India. In terms of that culture, she would have been the first kind of fair-skinned queen of North India. But instead, she took to the Dark Lord, and she kept with the Dark Lord for the rest of her life. At a certain point, she became renowned for her powers of love and also her musical attainments. And the court that she had abdicated from wanted her back, and she just said, no, nothing doing. And she went into her temple and said, I'll see you in the morning. And in the morning, there was nothing left but her hair and her sari draped across the image of her beloved. And I spent years of my life translating these. I'll just read a few to you. I sing the powers of Govinda. The king displeased, his kingdom unmoving. Hari displeased, there's no escape. The king sent poison in a cup, but I tasted nectar. He sent a black snake in a basket. I received a Sari Brahma. Mira is in love with her consort, Sanvalia. Black one, come to my home. Yellowed as an autumn leaf, I long for thought of you, Swami, Mira's Lord, meet me, save my honor. And in the original, it's Mira gara abo sundara shyama, tuma yogini sukani mira peri perija sapana, Mira asa orana Swami, ekitehero dhyana, Mira ke Prabhu, ved milo abo, rakoji mira mano. Sleepless, I twist on my bed. My beloved is not with me. The night tormented, my thoughts dark. O Lord of Mira, Giridhara, another dawn has come. Rama, I go to Giridhara. I'm lost in the love for Giridhara. Our marriage is old. Our marriage is from the past. To me, it doesn't matter that we were married in a dream. Mother Janata led me in my dream. How can I write to Hari? My pen full, my heart frail. In my mind the words silenced. In my eyes tears. If I cannot write a letter, how can I touch his lotus feet? Mira asked Giridhara to take away her pain. And most of these poems are based on the Sanskrit Vipralamba Shringara Rasa. It means a passionate love in the mode of separation. But occasionally she did write in the mode of Shringara Rasa, which means, total love. So I'm going to read the last two in the series. One is the first, based on separation. The second is based on union. John Cage explored the theory of rasa and wrote about it in the West. And René Damal in France translated the essays that fully describe it. Yogi, I'm your slave, don't leave. Show me love's path. Ignite the pyre, burn the branch, press my ash. To your palms, your pores. Mira says, Yogi, make two flames one. And then she says, my beloved came. I watched the road, and I the solitary attained him. I decorated the plate for puja. I gave my jewels to him, and finally he sent messages. He came. Bliss adorns me. Hari is a sea of love. My eyes are linked to his in love. Mira, a sea of bliss, accepts the dark one. Yeah, I mean, we can also salute her courage. In that time there was no media, but there was plenty of gossip, and she really suffered from that gossip. And at any rate, she rose to the occasion, and she also disappeared at the right time. I'm just going to unexpectedly read this, and then David and I are going to play. I'm happy to say that the first copy of the scroll was presented to Ian, so I dedicate this to him. I'm just going to read the first part and the last part. Oh yes, I want to say, in the Jewish tradition, the women heroines are left out of the Torah, the main book, the 5 books of the Pentateuch. So there's a scroll, I was going to say in New York, a fucking scroll. They put all the women heroines in this scroll. And like the book of Esther is read once a year, Queen Esther is the, or the seal, Harish Hashirim, the Song of Songs, in which the Dark Bride is the heroine. And so I got the idea to make scrolls, kind of out of desperation. Okay, I'm just going to read the first part. It would take the whole evening to read it all. And the end part, because it mentions Mirabai. I want to say, the woman who made this press made it immediately after the death of Ira Cohen. He died, and I happened to be in her as a guest in her house. So we woke up in the morning, Ira has died, what are we going to do? And one of the things we were going to do was make a press. So we named the press after a line from his poem called Jack in Your Box. Jack in Your Box Press. Okay, Love Poems, Cantos 1 through 5. 1. The first thing to see is the purity of the display. After that, you can take anything. Even fire becomes sweet like water. Everything cleanses you. There's no need to convince anyone. Samsara and Nirvana have equal taste. Even betrayals belong to the theatrics. Did you mention forgiveness casually on a mountainside before the rocks fell crashing around you? Were your promises of love empty like the Dharmakaya? And I was surprised. By surprise, the man said. He wasn't referring to you. Empty mornings, the dance of skeletons, sad women in skins of heat. If I heard your singing, if I knew your music, much less the calamity which awaited, dragons you invented to keep your dreams sterile but intact, young men you dreamed of barely and could not contain because. 2. The Guru's dream medicine. As if when, although young, lion eye in this forest rise green and intense and in passing karmic wind which, or do I dream this seed? And I'll read the end of the scroll, but at least you can see it. Okay, the end is, I get to New York City in the end, and let's see, this is the one I wanted to read. When the moment arrived, deathless and wishless and placeless, Mira was a cult figure in the labyrinth of the inner city, Auschwitz, Antwerp, when postulating performance art, the country of smoke, your cardinal desire, transparent warnings when center became left out, no one, nothing, I learned in which context, the skies of New York City. Today at 3 a.m., the clouds are like the ones I wanted to paint in the blue elevator on East 3rd Street. That was an elevator of a friend of mine. I always wanted to just paint some clouds in there. Mr. Bliss. I always wanted to thank Mr. Bliss, an ex-funeral director, for the $50 he gave me in KKs, but I never saw him again. I never saw him again, not remembering clearly how he looked. Sometimes I'd ask the elderly clients, "Are you Mr. Bliss?" But they never were. Autumn moon, sleeping with the chauffeur the night after the autumn moon. If we'd slept together when the moon was full, today we would not be separated. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to play some music. The first piece is a reflection of those rasas. So we're going to play in a simple raga. The second piece is going to be a celebration of where we're really at and free improvisation. Thank you very much.
By the way, I don't know if anyone knows, but there's a system of library classification called the Bliss system. It's created by Mr. Bliss. And it's, I think, only used at Centre House Library, and it is anything but bliss.
Okay, let me say that Bliss poem to you guys. Allen Ginsberg lived on East 12th Street in New York, between Avenue A and First Avenue. And that KK's was a place where everyone would kind of meet, or he would meet. It was an old Polish restaurant, and he'd meet like these dignitaries or just his friends there. And I don't know, I used to go there like, it's kind of just to remember him, even though I wasn't that close to him, but that was the place. And then I met Peter Orlowski in front of KK's one time, and he said to me, after Alan's death, he said, oh, it wasn't supposed to happen this way. He was going to live until he was 80. And I went there, I needed some money one time for a book, and I went there, but always with Alan in mind. And this Mr. Bliss manifested and gave me money for the book, you know. Okay, it's a New York anecdote. You guys, now that we've read the poetry, if you want to talk in this music and move around, feel free. No, I mean that.
Dance.
I can't impose the music.
Do the what to see.
Thank you for listening. Yeah, I'd like to sing. Can you hear me? I'm just going to sing.
You got see.
Oh, wait. I have to stand up. I'm going to just sing a little of Mirabai. Naturally, these poetry written in the 16th century. I'm sorry, her dates are 1498 to 1550. All of the poetry in that period, as you know, was written to music as musical composition. So I'm going to sing the melody to one while David plays a bass line.
This demands incredible technical virtuosity.
Okay, it's just very, very short, and then we'll do a free improvisation. Okay. I just wanted to give David thinks this doesn't, demands technical perfection, but you really can't do Indian music without a tonic note. It's so fragile. The movement from note to note is so sensitive that you really, the one tonic note at least is indispensable. Thank you. So now we're going to rock and roll. So you be prepared. Okay.
take a 15-minute